Well, good evening, everybody, to One Nation with your host, Christian Norfleet. And guess what? This afternoon, or actually this evening, therapy is in session, and we have a special guest on tonight. It'll be therapeutic. Stay tuned. See you in about 30 seconds. Well, welcome to One Nation with your host, Christian R Norfleet. I'm very excited for you to tune in tonight to our Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube channel with One Nation. And I don't take it for granted that y'all tuned in tonight. I'm very appreciative of all of the viewers, the followers, the subscribers, all of those who share, like, and comment. Thank you so much for supporting this One Nation channel and what we do on here and what we show. So I want to give a quick shout out to everybody who's on right now. If you are on tonight, make sure that you comment in the comment section so I know that you're on. I see one person already is on. Star Shields, my niece, God bless you. Thank you for tuning in tonight. And all of you who are on tonight, make sure you share some with somebody that One Nation is on the air. Well, really quickly, I want to before we get into our topic for tonight, which is I need therapy. I want to quickly remind you that there are various ways that you can tune in with us here on this podcast. One of those ways is email, of course, One Nation 2021 ENT at gmail.com. That's One Nation 2021 ENT at gmail.com. The information is down at the bottom of your screen as well. Also, you can go to our Facebook group page, which is One Nation ELIZE. At least means God's oath. That's a unique name that I gave this channel. So it separates us from other One Nations because there's a lot of One Nations out there, but we have God's oath on our lives. So you can subscribe also to the YouTube channel and also to the One Nation group page. Also, you can contact us here tonight at 404-889-6302 because we're going to have a Q&A session with our licensed therapist tonight. She's going to come on and bless us tonight. So, but we're going to also be talking about her book as well. So also, if you are interested in buying a shirt, yes, we have merchandise, y'all. We do have merchandise. Matter of fact, I have a shirt here for $20 if you're interested in buying. Look, I even got this color here if you like it. See the logo. I don't know if you can see. There you go. I need y'all to support the brand. If you are interested in buying a shirt, you can email me or text that number 404-889-6302. Send me your name and the size you want. And also, when you send in the money, whether $20 for a shirt or $35 for the hoodies, yes, we do have hoodies. You can cash out the money to this place here. You can cash app it, which is at the bottom of your screen, $ One Nation ELIZE 21. That's $ One Nation ELIZE 21. Or you can also Zelle to One Nation 2021 ENT at gmail.com to get your shirt and also to get your sweater. And also, when you get the shirt or the sweater, take a picture, send it to us, and we'll post your picture online so everybody can see how nice you look. And also, we can invite you to the One Nation family. All right. Thank you so much. Yes. And shout out to my sister Shakita's on tonight. Thank you. And God bless you for tuning in. Well, without further ado, I have a very special guest who, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Can't forget about my wife. Shout out to my wife. I don't want her choking me. She knows I'm playing. God bless you, my wife, Tracy Norfleet. She has been a very significant part of this channel, of the growth of this channel, and all her support. So thank you, wife, so much. Tracy, she's called herself Tracy Woo Woo. So y'all might know her as Tracy Woo Woo or Miss ATL, but I call her Tracy. That's how I know her. But thank you so much, wife, for helping me on this channel, supporting it. Thank you so much. All right, y'all. Well, we're gonna get to it. We have a special guest, and I believe she's about ready to come on. But before she comes on, I want to show this quick video, and then we're going to bring her right on after this. So y'all stay tuned. Oh, come on now.
As I hold this pen, unable to write, staring blankly into nowhere, I'm paralyzed. Thoughts running through my mind, but words won't emerge because I'm paralyzed. Where did I go wrong? Hope this feeling don't last for long. You gave me strength, you gave me strength to write this song. If you look in my eyes, you see I'm paralyzed, so blinded by the lies, ain't got no sense of time. Something I can't describe that makes me terrified. That's why I need your guidance, 'cause I'm paralyzed. Paralyzed, paralyzed, paralyzed. Immobilized, can't walk, paralyzed, can't talk. Won't be stuck here 'cause I'm paralyzed. Don't try to hold me, let me go. There's one thing I do know, I'm stronger than this. Walking through aimlessly. Why can't I move? I wanna be free. If you
Let us welcome to the show podcast Miss Renee Ambush, as she is a yes. Can you? We can hear you. Thank you. Welcome to the One Nation Elise podcast. I'm very honored, excited, and humbled that you have joined us tonight. How is your day going?
My day is going great. And first and foremost, thanking God for being here and thanking you for even like not counting the cost to bring me on as well. So I really appreciate this opportunity as well.
Well, praise the Lord. Now, your pedigree here, you have a lot uh, attributes here. Quickly, you are 25 years experience in social work. You have a degree in psychology, and you're a licensed therapist. So, tell us about some of your journey. As let's start there. Your experience in this social work field.
Um, I think I was actually just born for it.
Wow.
I literally, we'll talk about this a little later, but just understanding what your purpose is. I was always an advocate for someone. I always was definitely for the underdog my entire life. I've got elementary school friends who tell me you was just always sticking up for people. So I think literally, honestly, actually, I believe that we are really born into our purpose, into our destiny. It's just that we have to catch up with understanding what it was. So it took me on a journey to actually become educated in that field and to obtain my degree, both secular and in ministry. So having both a degree in the divinity and the degree in the world so that I can be able to service all of us holistically.
Awesome. Now, you wrote a book, and I just read it recently. And the book is called Silent Screams,
Yes.
Sounds Children Hold Inside. In your own way, give us a summary of the book that you wrote and what this means.
A synopsis of the book is pretty much speaking about overcoming sexual trauma, sexual abuse in the form of incest, molestation, and even rape. That is a part of my history and a part of my life, actually, in my formative years, starting from age 6 to age 16. So 10 consecutive years of sexual abuse. But I wrote the book from giving, of course, as you see, my story, but also giving the understanding that we are not what happens to us. And that even though those things have happened, they don't define us. So, therefore, that you can overcome those situations and circumstances. As long as you have breath in your body, you still have the ability to overcome what happened to you. And it's not the sum of who you are.
Well, I like that. It's not the sum of who you are. And, and in this book, there is some I encourage all of you to purchase this book and read this book, especially those who have been sexually traumatized in any way, shape, and form. But I want to ask a quick question.
Mhm.
It's something that is taboo. We don't like to talk about it when it comes to sexual trauma, especially when it relates to children. And why do you think that people are afraid to deal or tackle this subject or topic?
I want to first say because there are things that we generationally inherited without even knowing, right? The trauma that we actually have prior to even being born, and I'd say that from a natural perspective. Our mothers' mothers, our mothers' mothers were kind of taught not to speak about sex. It's the thing that you just don't talk about. So that very thing that we don't talk about, we sweep under the rug. And actually, that rug has a big lump in it, and nobody wants to poke the bear under the rug. However, everybody's actually being mauled by the bear. Everybody's being bitten by the bear, but nobody wants to talk about it. So these are things, especially in our culture as melanated individuals, we just don't talk about the sex thing, and we allow the men to come around our daughters because they
Uh-oh. I think are you still there? Renee, you still there? I think we lost Renee, you still there? I think we lost her. Oh, she's frozen. Okay. Uh-oh. Okay. Hold on a second. I think we've lost her for a second. We're going to bring her back as soon as we get her unfrozen. Okay. And we'll wait till she comes back on. We y'all know how this technology can get. But while she's getting her sound back together, I encourage all of you to purchase this book, Silent Screams, Sounds Children Hold Inside. You can purchase it on Kindle, or also you can go to I believe Amazon, and then read it on Kindle. That's what I did. I wrote it on that, and hopefully we can get back on as soon as it's her Wi-Fi. Maybe it might be her Wi-Fi or something. So okay. Now, while another thing is okay, here she is.
the
All right.
enemy is mad. So how about they don't want to
Yeah,
talk about it today either, huh?
yeah. Oh, yeah. I was. Ain't nobody mad but the devil. I know
Ain't
that's right.
nobody mad but the devil. Isn't that something?
Hmm. Okay, so we got you back now. So now we were talking about how sometimes that something when it comes to sexual trauma, or how we don't like to deal with that. And I just say black people, period. When we talk about therapy in the black community, that's something we just kind of stay hush hush about, like, because everybody gonna think you're crazy if you're seeing a therapist, or we just don't do that. But why is it important for the black community? And I'm focused on the black community to get therapy. Why is it necessary for us to get that?
Because of our history. And I
Mm.
was never a historian per se, but when I looked at it from a psychological and or therapeutic stance, we inherited trauma, right? And because of that, it's been passed down. And I use examples like this. If we realize that several people in our family, immediate family, actually has like diabetes. And we talk about, because Big Mama cooked with, 15 pounds of sugar. And that was her recipe. And we love Big Mama. So we cooked with 15 pounds of sugar. And then everybody's got this, this high pressure, this diabetes and, insulin issues. And nobody ever really kind of stops and say, well, wait a minute, even though we love Big Mama, right? Just because that's how she did it doesn't mean that's how we have to do it. And because we have a history of, and just whole nother topics and all that, but because we have the slavery, because we have the repression, the suppression, we have all of those things, it taught us different personalities and characteristic traits. And that got passed down to generations and generations. So like you said, if back in the slavery day, Mr. Tom, he wasn't doing what everybody else did, he was crazy. It was something wrong with him. We didn't realize that, he may have been just, anointed. He may have been in a place that he didn't see things like we see them. And we then stigmatized it, that therapy in the Black community was just not good. But I just want to interject and say, but we go to therapy when we go to the hairdresser, when we go to the barber, when we go to the bar, when we catch an Uber and tell them all our business and things of that nature. We're really in therapy. It's just that we may not be able to receive the strategies and the help that we need, but we're actually in therapy doing those things.
I like how you brought it up. And here's another thing. You really have to be careful who you tell your personal information to, your deep thoughts, your deep feelings, and things that happen to you, because you find them all over social media nowadays. So why not go to a professional, a person who's been skilled and licensed to handle those type of traumas in people's life, and they know what to say and how to say it without getting, without it, being spread all over the place. So I think
also be given information that may be harmful to you as well.
Wow. Okay. So, and that's good. That's good you said that, because a lot of people will try to give us information from their own personal lives and from their own personal experience, but everybody has not lived the same exact, experiences. It might be similar, but it's not exactly the same. And so with that being said, we have to be sure that we get connected to the right people.
Absolutely.
So I'm very I'm glad and excited that you're on today. So with that, and I want to first talk about also your upbringing. Where are you from?
I'm so glad you asked, because I get excited every opportunity that I get to tell people. I am from Baltimore, and I don't say Baltimore, be more all day. The 2 Do and Avenue. That is us.
Avenue. Yes, that they got that
on Avenue. And I am so proud to be from Baltimore, because what happens is Baltimore gets a bad rap. We get a bad rap. And so anytime I can be the positive face to Baltimore, I'm going to make it known. So everywhere I go, I don't care where I am, by the end of the day, or by the time you finish knowing anything about me, you're going to know I am from Baltimore. Born and raised West Baltimore, 21215 all day.
Okay. Now I got to ask this, because let me first ask this. Are you a Ravens fan, a Baltimore Ravens fan?
All day, I bleed purple, no matter what.
I bleed purple. I'm from Pittsburgh, so I'm a Steelers fan. So, man,
I still love you. I'm still love you.
Still. So it's all good. It's still love here, but we know how that goes. That rivalry back and forth. Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, awesome. So you grew up in Baltimore, and you said Baltimore, they got a bad rap and things. So how so, in your opinion, why is Baltimore what made Baltimore so rough, and has it always been that way?
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say that I don't know if it's always been that way, because growing up, it was the best place ever. And it really wasn't until some, things come out in the news and in the public eye and everything like that, that I could say, oh, wow, wait, that's how we're viewed. And it wasn't also until I actually moved to other states. And when I told people I was from Baltimore, literally they would go, oh my God, are you okay? I'm like, I'm great. Like, what do you mean? But what they see more about Baltimore is, or what they know about is The Wire and Freddie Gray and, the high STD rates. But what they don't know is We have a good education system. We have very intelligent individuals there. We have a lot of creatives there. We have a lot of celebrities that have hailed from there. We've got inventions there. We've got, we have so many things that are positive about Baltimore. And I would venture to say, now people might want to cancel me after this, but come, listen, better come. If you're going to come correct. But a lot of people want to be like people in Baltimore as well. They come, they film, they take our music, our style. It's just something different about someone from Baltimore. And we house and exude so much, but we just don't get the credit for it.
Wow. Well, shout out to be more, Baltimore and Maryland out there. But I know I want to get to this song. Also, I want to talk about this song that you have posted. I just played before we got on. Paralyzed. Now, that's a unique title to a song. Tell me about how that song came to fruition.
That song was actually me emerging out of my cocoon from domestic violent marriages.
Wow.
And I realized that when we are in a state of paralysis, that we usually look at that as being a physical form. But we can actually be paralyzed in the sense that we are no longer operating in our purpose and our call and our gift. And we are then stuck. We're walking through life aimlessly, like we're literally just existing, but we're not operating and living in purpose. So I wrote that song about being paralyzed because as much as I wanted to operate in who I was called to be or operate in something outside of that abusive marriage, I wasn't. And then I realized in my continuation with my walk and seeking and pressing towards God, the mark, who am I? The more I pressed, the more I began to know who I was and realized that, guess what? I am not paralyzed. That's just a state of being that I don't have to be in. And I have the ability through his capability to overcome anything.
Powerful. So what are some of the signs? Like, let's say somebody's watching here tonight and they don't know what to look for in an abusive relationship, whether it's domestic violence or even sexually abusive. What are some of the things that a person should be looking for? Some signs, some traits, some characteristics.
I'm going to go first and foremost to, we talk about, I had a feeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can label that feeling as intuition, gut feeling, whatever. But I want to venture to say that even if a person doesn't realize, we have God's spirit in us.
Amen.
That was how man, and I say man as mankind, was formed, right?
Amen. Mm-hmm.
Being able to have that connection. And so when you have that physical feeling, so if you're not one who walks or professes faith or is into the Lord, when you have that feeling, that is first and foremost your physical yet your spiritual nature telling you this is not right, it's uncomfortable, and it's okay for you to acknowledge that, right?
Right.
So not to second guess what's here and within us. I definitely tell people, and this is just I say people because women are not the only ones who are in abusive relationships. So we have to kill that myth as well, right? We want to go ahead and let that one to rest as well.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is, long before a male or female physically assaults you, they have done emotional abuse. And those are the signs that you are in, or at least a sign that you are in an abusive relationship, when you feel that you can't operate in your authentic self. If you have to walk on eggshells, if you have to mind what you say, if you have to mind how you address or dress or interact with other people, you want to look at that surrounding. Anything that is confining you, putting you in a box or confining you, is something you should really start taking a little bit more heed into. Is this the place that I'm supposed to be? Am I supposed to be around this, situation? Usually, now this is something that's gonna tick people because it can be a little tricky. Usually, abusers are very nice.
Wow.
Very nice.
How so? Explain that.
We look at abusive being really negative and think They're usually an abuser. Usually, it doesn't become negative until they realize they have emotionally manipulated you to a point where you're dependent. So the only
Okay.
way to do that, and if I can bring, of course, scripture in, the Bible says that the enemy presents himself as a beacon of light. And I tell little kids this all the time. Bad people or negative people or the devil will never come up to you and go, "Hey, I'm here to kill you." Never.
Sure.
It's like, "Hey, would you like some candy? Would you like to go out? Would you?" So we have to look at someone who's just, and not to say that people can't be nice, but someone overly like nice and overly and just kind of wants to start moving you away from your surroundings, or being able to take you away from what's familiar, or take you away from people that care about you. That could be physically dating you and taking you places all the time where you no longer have time to communicate with people that you usually communicate with, who are safe people or anything like that. So those are some signs. Just look at the overly nice that begin to pull you away from your familiar surroundings and your
Mm.
support systems. Yeah.
And you got people on here now that are commenting, agreeing with you, saying the same thing that, so, and we're going to actually in few minutes open up some Q&A for people who might be experiencing some of these things, whether you're experiencing sexual abuse, physical abuse. And I also want to question you about emotional and mental abuse.
Mhm.
So because sometimes you don't see the physical scars. It might not be
Oh,
physical abuse, but explain to me how emotional or mental abuse might work as well.
emotional and mental abuse is that very thing, to have you to question your validity, question your sanity, question your thoughts.
Mm,
So that can be, and it's telling you things or questioning or challenging things that you know to be your truth and your belief. And
mhm.
that's why it's so important for us to have some kind of foundational ground to stand on. Because at the end of the day, when the wind sways or blows, you may bend, but you don't break. You stay back to your foundation. And mental or emotional abuse comes with a lot of, I'm going to use this, and people are going to be like, what? A lot of mental and emotional abuse comes through sarcasm.
Wow.
Sarcasm and demeaning by, "It was a joke. I was just
Mm,
saying, well, I didn't really mean that." But see, what happens is we have to be mindful that we hear. We're accountable for what we hear. So what comes out, what we're hearing, we've now ingested that like a good meal or a bad meal, and now we're digesting
wow.
it. So so when you go, oh, and a good example, like I said, my husband, who was very abusive, um, here it is, I'm out here being considered for Grammys and singing and videos. He would tell me all the time, "You can't sing." He was like, "Yeah, yeah, I mean, to some people you might sound okay, but you really not a singer." And mind you, he was a musician and he was a music producer. So it made me question my validity or my credibility. It was like, well, maybe I can't sing. Now, mind you, I'm singing at places. I'm a lead singer of a band, and everybody's like, "Oh my goodness, you give me chills when you sing." But this one person that, and we'll talk about this if we have time, that I gave my
Sure.
heart to, that I entrusted my vulnerability to, his opinion made more sense, or made more of a difference to me than everybody else. Why? Because I was emotionally attached. So when we are emotionally attached to an individual, when we've allowed them in our vulnerable spaces and places, then they have the ability to manipulate or maneuver our thought process. And that would be a portion of emotional and mental abuse.
Well, thank you for sharing. And you were talking about your marriage, and are you currently married now?
To the Lord, but guess what? He gonna send some
Amen.
help.
Well, amen. We speak that in your life. Amen. So you talk about you talk about
So
your
funny.
yes, you're talking about your husband you were married to. How long were you and him married for in that
Almost 10
relationship?
years.
10 years? And how when did you actually meet him? At what age?
I met him when I was 19.
So you're young.
And
Now,
but he was my best male friend too. He was my best male friend for years. And and we were able to talk. So that was a good thing. We were able to talk, and he had acknowledged. He said, "I knew how to be your friend. I didn't know how to be your husband."
wow. Wow. Deep. I knew how to be a friend, but and see, oh, I wish we could talk about it, but that's not we can't go there tonight. But that's important because it's to establish those boundaries in relationships because sometimes once to that next realm, which is marriage, now it's another level of exposure. You really got to peel back yourself and reveal yourself in
Absolutely.
ways, and sometimes that might be too much for us to handle. Because now we got to share some things that we're not
Yeah.
particularly ready for. So yeah, but real quickly, I want to interject this real quick. For those of you that are watching online, if you want to come on and got some questions for Miss Renee, the number, and I'm gonna put it in the comment section, but the number is 404-889-6302. You can text me and your number, because don't put your information on here because I don't want everybody calling you, but you can just text to that number and I'll send you the link and you can come on and ask some questions that you might have or concerns. Now, remember, when you come on, please keep it professional, keep it
Absolutely.
clean. This is going to be a safe place. Nobody's here to be,
And
badging.
I'm
We're
from
not,
West
not
Baltimore,
good.
so
Yeah. we don't do that here. We want this. We creating a safe space for people here to heal. And so if you're interested, if you come on, I just put the number on here and I'm gonna put it on the screen. It's 404-889-6302. I'll leave it up there for anybody who's interested to come on and ask Miss Renee some questions.
and I
Now,
do want to also say thank you for repping the Born to Be Unboxed brand. I
oh
really
yeah, oh
you
yeah,
got me,
yeah. I got it on.
got
I
me
got it on. Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I love that. I love that. Born to be unboxed because it's thinking. I love to think outside the box. So tell me about this. What's born to be unboxed? What does that mean?
Well, that is my business, my counseling. That came, and I'm gonna tell you how that came about. I literally started as a women's ministry leader, and the title was "Wish Women I Shall Help." And as I continued to go on, I found that I was actually helping equal amount of men. And I was like, well, wait a minute, because I'm from the old school, women with women and men with men, like the.
Yeah,
And the thing about it was when you are called to the masses, you are unboxed. You are
yes,
not in this gender, and we still want to put safe parameters. I don't want to just put that out there, but
sure.
you're not just put in a box. When you have a word and a mission for the masses, you are out the box. And literally, that's what I want people to know, that when you were born on purpose, for purpose, but you were also born to be unboxed, because this thing we call world will try to put you in a box, in a system, put you in a realm where you can be contained by the world. But God said he come in John 10:10 that you have life in abundance. So we were born to be unboxed.
Well, powerful. Now, when I read this book, Silent Screams,
Mhm.
and I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but
Yes.
I was looking for number two because you kind of
It's
just left me on
coming.
the cliff there, and so there's so much going on. I know it primarily deals with your youth and growing up in Baltimore and things like that, and the different things that you experienced, traumatic experience. But I want to ask a question: were there any good times, and besides the traumatic experiences? Can you say there were some good times that you had in that
Oh
first
my
part of your life?
I had some good times, and um, I'm really grateful for them. I had, and I do want to say this also for people who get the book and read the book, because I have to put this in there. A lot of people are read the book and they got so upset with my mother. And it was like, how could she let you? How would you? Oh, she's so bad. And I just want to say that I can't stop anybody for how they feel. But I want you to know that all things happen for a reason, and all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and called according to his purpose.
Yes.
My mother served her purpose in my life. And I want to say that my mother and I have an amazing relationship. So
Good.
just like how um, uh, whose Pharaoh's heart was purposely hardened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that my mother was purposely hard, but I talked about inherited trauma, right? I didn't know what she had to go through to deal with life. She doesn't have a book. I was the one that wrote the book. You know what I mean?
Right.
But to say that we have an amazing relationship, and to even to say to mothers, once you read this book, if your child has been sexually assaulted or molested in the hands of your rearing, that doesn't make you a bad parent, because things happen. Things
Yes.
happen. And we, with you are parenting with the best of your ability, with the best of your heart, and the best intent in mind to have to be the best parent, and you fall short according to what maybe somebody else may be, that doesn't make you a bad parent. That makes you a human. That makes you someone that God can still use. If he allowed you to birth a child through you, then he knew you had the ability to do it. So don't you get on yourself or down yourself or beat yourself or anything like that. Did I have good times in Baltimore? Did I ever? I loved growing up. I loved going outside and playing. I went to dance. I went to fun camp. I went to a lot of those things. And the thing about it is, I even, shout out to, again, all girls school, Western Senior High. I'm a Dove for life. You'll get that. Everybody who sees this from Baltimore understand it. I went to an all girls school. And I'm really glad I did. I went because my mother wanted me to go. I didn't, but that was one of the best decisions in my life. I've got sisterhoods that lasted forever, and learned how to be a friend to a woman as well, because sisters do get along. Sisters are good to each other. Women are not catty, not all. Not girls may be. So
good. That's good.
Absolutely. And so the thing about that, I'm saying that to say that I navigated life in Baltimore, even with my history, very positive. Very loving, very all of that. So those things hurt me. They did some things to me, but they didn't break me. They actually made me the person that I am. And without it, I wouldn't be who I am today.
Now I got to say this, because this is very bold of you to write a book. And I'm sure some of these people during the time you wrote the book, when did you write this book approximately?
Funny story. I started writing this book in 2002 or 3. And it was stolen. It was stolen from out of my car. Then it was mysteriously lost. And then I decided, well, I'm not going to write it because maybe I'm not supposed to write it. And then, of course, I had some family members tell me, don't write it. It's enough stories out there. We don't need to hear your story. I mean, I had even been threatened by a family member that if I wrote it, I was going to get beat up. And I said, well, it was only going to validate what I said. You didn't say I was lying. You just said you was going to. So,
that part.
Right.
That part.
So I was just like, well, you know what? With so much adversity and controversy about this book, it must need to go out there. And I toyed with it because I also said, what my story? Who am I? Like Oprah has a story, all these big people have a story. Oh, nobody know Renee Ambush from West Baltimore. So what does that mean? But again, it's about your purpose. There were people who could only get the story from me that they needed. And it was not for me per se. It was a part of my healing, but it was for other people who needed to hear that book from somebody who really was a nobody and then knew that they could overcome it.
And see, the thing is, that was my next question, and is how the people who were in this book, how did they feel about it? Did they?
I've been ostracized. I mean, listen. So don't think that it was just a skip in the tulips and everybody.
I'm sure it wasn't.
Yeah, no. Really, I still have family members that don't talk to me. But I'm going to say this: there are family members who are in there who are still. That we're still in contact, still in love, still love each other. We, still because they understood, hey, I forgave you, right?
Yes.
And that's a part of healing is the forgiving. I know a lot of people can't forgive. They just can't let that forgiveness go. But you are literally, when I tell people this in my sessions and I tell people this in general, when you don't forgive, you are letting whatever happened by whomever continuously, repeatedly do that to you. And you're no longer, and they're not even around anymore. So it's like you release yourself from that attack or whatever it is over and over and over when you forgive. So, I mean, God has restored so many of the relationships in that book. And he also taught me, because some of the people have never even acknowledged or apologized. But God says you have to live beyond the apology.
Wow. So, and this is a good point right here with forgiveness. What do you do when people who don't acknowledge what they done to you? That's a hard thing. You grew up with this person or whoever it might be. They hurt you really bad, but they pretend as though they didn't do nothing wrong, or they don't want to take accountability or responsibility for that hurt that they caused you. How do you react to that, and how you deal with that?
So this is the healing truth. When we release people, we release them to God.
Mm,
And now, therefore, it's his dealings with that individual.
right.
But when we release them without the forgiveness, we say that, and again, this is accepting and acknowledging your power, right? Because I say that
Right.
we're all superheroes, and our superhero power is choice. When you choose to say, I no longer let this individual run ransaw over my mind or over my thoughts, over my spirit, over my emotions, you get free, and you leave them to have to deal with whatever it is that they have to deal with, but you live in freedom. And that means that you have to actually look at the offense, see that it did not take you out, and go, well, guess what? Whatever their attempt was, it didn't work because I'm still here. And then we start processing whatever residue it left in you.
So processing. So walk us through how that process works for some people who don't understand.
First and foremost, like I said, and I tell people, I'm not the therapist for everybody. Now, I would love to have everybody. I'm just gonna be real with you. But if you don't like me at some point, I'm not doing my job, because what I need to do is have you to face those very things that hurt you, which means you have to you're going to have to reignite those feelings and things of that nature. Because what
Mhm.
happens is you have to show yourself that you have, like I said, the power to overcome whatever initially, quote, broke you, right?
Right. Right.
So going through that process means facing that situation, that circumstance, but being able to change your perspective and change your mindset about what that was, right? And being able to release yourself from that circumstance and situation, and then look at it in a sense outside of it, then look at it inside of it, and then look at the outcome of it.
Good. Now, real quickly, again, I want to repeat this. Anybody who is interested in doing a Q&A session, or want a quick session with the, I almost called it a doctor.
Oh, wait, you're going looking into existence. All right.
Yeah, it's
I'll see you.
404-889-6302, and we'll send you the link and you can come on live. I know some of y'all might be shy and don't want your face shown, but those who might want to come on and just have a quick conversation with us, we got about 20 minutes left, so you got time to come on in, call in, and we can discuss and have a session right here live. This won't be a Kevin Samuel type situation. We doing that over here.
Let's not. Listen, me and the Kevin Samuels, we ain't beat too well, and I got into some conversations with people about him, because
Oh
I'm like,
boy,
I'm good with direct therapy,
yes,
but it's also still how you deliver, right? So, and what's
yes,
your intent? What's your intent in the delivery?
absolutely. So, in your sessions, when you have sessions with people, oh, I have somebody. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Oh, hold on a second. Hello. Yeah, are you trying to? Yeah, I'm gonna send you the link if you're trying to call me in. Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna send you the link. Okay. All right. Somebody called in, and while I'm sending them the link, hold on a second. Copy and there we go. Paste that there, and bam. All right.
Okay.
I got somebody who's going to come in a minute, and while we're getting them prepared, oh, I had somebody on here just comment. They said the devil tried to stop
Wow.
me from watching this live stream. Wow. Star Shields, God bless you, and thank you for pushing through and pressing through, because
Yes, I see.
you never know what people are dealing with. Silent screams, like I mean, just quietly. There are people who are quietly being tormented, and they can't talk. I want you to talk to that person who wants to talk but they can't talk. They don't know how to talk. What can they do to express? Because when someone goes through traumatic experiences, abuses, like you said, they can feel paralyzed, or they feel muted, and they don't have a voice. So I want you to talk to that person and tell them how they can get a voice.
That pen and that paper.
Mm.
You can't speak it, but you can write it. And
Wow.
even if you don't give it to somebody else to read, writing it down gets it out of your head, gets it out of your heart, gets it out of your thoughts. You put it in that book, right? The other way is music is universal. You can find a song for anything. If you are unable to voice exactly what you're going through, and we're very, we're smart creatures to a degree. If someone constantly uh takes you through, keeps sending you songs that's kind of got the same kind of, notion or whatever, and these are little things, because I do non-conventional, these are also things to be able to tell people if you're in abusive relationships. Send people
Right.
songs. They're going to start questioning, why you keep sending me this? You going through something. What's going on? What's happening? You know what I mean? Hello
Oh,
there.
here we go.
Oh,
Hey,
I just popped up. Oh my goodness,
yeah,
I
I
wasn't
text.
prepared. Oh
Yeah,
my
I text.
goodness. Hey, Renee.
Hello there.
Oh my goodness, excuse the look. Oh my goodness.
That's all
Well, you're
right.
on. You're on
Let me
You're
live. So
on now.
welcome. No, 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 no. Okay, she don't want to show herself. That's understandable. But and y'all, this is my wife, y'all. So everybody knows
His
this is
beautiful
Tracy.
wife.
Say
She's such a
yes.
beautiful spirit,
Say
y'all.
say hi. Say hi to everybody. Can you hear?
I can't hear through here, so let me take these headphones off because I'm not hearing through my headphones.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you have to probably put your headphones on.
I don't know why it's not coming through my headphones, but you have to. Anyway, so I read the book and I
Yes.
love the book.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've heard of other people, going through sexual abuse, molestation, and I've never encountered that. God, I give thanks for that. How did you overcome that? How did you? Oh, thank you, Karen. Somebody just texted me and said I look beautiful. I'm sorry. Thank you, Karen. So, how did you overcome that? How did you get the strength, to say I'm better than this and I'm not going to play victim? Because I seen that in towards the end,
Mhm.
how not to play victim, and that's what most people do will play victim.
I think, well, for me, it was the fact that I realized that the longer I held on to the offense and held on to what had happened to me, the more I was actually it was no longer somebody else putting me in bondage. It was myself. So that meant I had to deal with myself, because these people were no longer doing this. And for me, like I said, personally, because it was, family, when I would go around the family and see that they were enjoying themselves, but I wasn't, and these were the people who did it, then I was like, wait, something's got to change, because why do they get to laugh and look like they're enjoying life and I'm not? So I need to take the steps to actually start dealing with why I can't enjoy life. Why, and look at why is it affecting me. And so once I start releasing those things, I was like, oh my gosh, I could actually breathe, I could live. And I also want to say this: therapists go to therapy.
Mm.
So I also went to therapy, and I'm going to be truthful. It was challenging finding a therapist, because, I didn't want to dwell in what happened. I wasn't angry with the people anymore. I didn't want to just make it about the other people. I needed to find somebody who was going to help me deal and hold myself accountable and deal with the things with me, because those people weren't around. So who was going to talk to me to deal with me so that I can live? Not so they can keep on renting space in my head and live in my heart, but how can I live, even though the offense? And that's why I always tell people, you are not what happened to you.
Powerful, powerful. You stay there, Tracy? No, you gotta turn your I think your mute button's on. Okay, we can't hear you online. Turn off you have to, okay. Hold on, let me see if she's got her mute. Okay, I think she left. Now, we got time for one more caller.
Okay.
We got about 10 minutes. Oh, there she goes. Can you hear it? You still on? No, we can't hear you. No, we can't hear you though. Yeah. I'm sorry.